How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are massively dropping in price. I think the top one is about 79%, but the crazy thing about it is how much actual dollars it dropped by. It went from like $10,000 to like $2,500 in a span of about a year, year and a half. Oh man, that sucks. And I actually have 2 of them. So yeah, I didn't buy them at the $10,000 price, but I just happen to have 2 of them. All right, but before I get into all this data and everything like that, if you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit the like button. All right, let's get into this. All right, Nintendo Comic System, no number. That is what NN stands for, if you ever see that, no number. A 9.4 is down 31% from 1,600 to 1,100. A 9.6 is down 15% from 2,000 to about 1,700. And a 9.8 is down 64% from 8,000 to now one currently selling for 2,861. Someone asked me to put this on here. Like I always say, comment below if there's a comic book that you want me to check out. Sometimes if I put a little heart button next to it, that means I've looked at it. So either if you don't see it on one of these lists or a future list, probably means that there's not enough concrete evidence. I looked at this one guy, he sent me a couple, and I was just like, I looked through them all and I was like, yeah, there's just not enough concrete evidence to show a trend either going up or down. So if there isn't, I can't put it on any list, either going up or going down. But nonetheless, about this book, this is surprising to me. Now, the 8,000 is a bit much, but what's surprising to me is normally when something comes out, like say a movie, the Mario movie's coming out, things like that, the hype machine starts going. And in that case, usually prices start going up. And then everyone starts looking through their old bins and go like, hey, I have this book. I should get it graded or I should sell it. And so they flood the market with it. Happened with pretty much most books, right? But this one I noticed there wasn't much of a flooding the market. Yes, there's some that came onto the scene, but not that much. So which tells me that is actually kind of rare. Now, is it worth the $8,000? I really don't know. Like, that's the highest grade. I don't think there's that many in a 9.8 because the hard thing about this one was it was sometimes glued to the inside of a magazine and people pulled out, got ripped and things like that. But if you look at the lower end grades, like the 9.6 and 9.4, you can see they haven't really dropped that much from their peak, and their peak looks to be around March, as opposed to the 9.8 was back in 2021, and that's dropped significantly. So I still think this is a pretty rare book. What it's actually worth, I think the $8,000 was way too much, but if a 9.8 is selling for slightly under $3,000, I still think that is a decent price for it. Next, we got Star Slayer #2. This is the first appearance of Rocketeer. Yes, the Rocketeer from I think it was the 90s movie from Disney, I believe. A 9.4 is down 77% from 176 to 41. A 9.6 is down 50% from 260 to 129. And a 9.8 is down 61% from 566 last year, now selling for $220. So this had a dual hype thing going. I had the comic boom, obviously, but why would the comic boom boost this random book, right? Yeah, the Rocketeer. Some older people, as myself, might know who the Rocketeer is, but most people have no idea who the Rocketeer is. But nonetheless, it was a movie that came out, and it was kind of like, during that time, I don't know if you guys remember, they were kind of dealing with Golden Age heroes, even though the Rocketeer is not a Golden Age hero. He came out in, I believe this was 82. But he kind of represented that Golden Age hero. So you got like that Dick Tracy, you got the Phantom, who else? The Shadow, was the Shadow in it? I think the Shadow was there as well. Stuff like that, that pulp kind of thing. And this was part of it during that time. So why is this popping up? Well, it's simple. Because Disney decided that they're going to reinvent the Rocketeer randomly. I don't know what happened to that thing. I don't know if they're still making it. Might have already came out. I have no idea. I knew it was going to be like a kids movie type of thing. Like not, kind of more Disney-esque. It was going to be on Disney Plus. I remember that. So I was like, okay. Didn't really follow it. But good on the person that created the Rocketeer because, hey. But nonetheless, I mean, for this book, a 566 for a 9.8. I mean, these are Actually, not as rare as you think. I literally had a stack about this big of this book, and I would sell them, ungraded, because this is before, and this was like probably like a year before the comic boom and all the hype and stuff. And I'd sell them for like, 9/8 ungraded, 9/6s, anywhere for like $25 to $50. So they're common. Like, you can get it if you want it. The thing is there a demand? So the supply is there. It's not as high as like a supply for Spider-Man, but obviously the Racketeer is not as in demand as Spider-Man. So that's the problem. It's not enough demand for it. The show, if it did come out, was obviously not very popular and didn't really do anything for this book. But that being said, it is still worth more than number 1, 3, and however many they made in this series. Next, we got Tales of Suspense 75. This is the first appearance of Peggy Carter, better known as Captain Carter, I think she was, in Doctor Strange 2. A 4.5 is down 75% from 189 to 55. A 6.0 is down 42% from 200 to 117. And an 8.0 is down 66% from 650 to now selling for 218. So, I mean, she had her show. I forget what it's called. Captain Carter, Peggy Carter. I don't know. It lasted like 2 seasons or something like that. She had that show. Never watched it. I think I watched half an episode, turned it off. She didn't really appear in anything until, the What If series, and then Doctor Strange 2, and she was obviously in Captain America 1. Not much to say about it. Will this book be worth what it was back in, 2019 and below? No, this is probably where it'll settle around this price. Is it really going to go up a bunch? Maybe a little bit here and there, but yeah. All right. Next on the list is X-Force number 2, second appearance of Deadpool. A 9.4 is down 57% for $75 to $32. A 9.6 is down 41% from $100 to $59. And a 9.8 is down 58% from $156 last year to $65. I put this on many of my lists of like cheap books that people should get, right? I think this is still a good book. It's second appearance of Deadpool. Deadpool is going to be here for a long, 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 long time. If you're buying a 9.8 for $65, that's basically like case cost. Now, you should never get a 9.6 or a 9.4, anything below that, below a 9.8 of this book, because the 9.8 is already so cheap. Like, what are you saving here? A 9.6 sold for $59, or you could get a 9.8 for $65. Might as well pay the extra $6 and get yourself a 9.8. 32 for a 9.4. I have a ton for sale. So I'm doing myself a disservice by saying not to buy them. But I'll still tell you the honest truth. Get a 9.8 of this book if you're going to get this book. I still think it's a good book. Where is it going to go in the future? I don't know. I think, as time goes on, Deadpool is always going to be around. Now, the one issue with this book is it was printed like crazy. So high print run on this book. And during the time, a lot of people kept it in nice shape. But this is my thinking. Could be wrong. As time goes on and New Mutants 98, which is the first appearance of Deadpool, gets more and more expensive. Right? It started off a $1 book. Now it was a 9.8 sell for, I don't know, off the top of my head, like 1,000 or something. Somewhere around there, 900, 800, I don't know. Maybe even more. Whatever it sells for, it's way more than when it started off as like $1.75 or $1.25, whatever it started off with. And it's been gaining momentum over time. 5-10 years from now, a New Mutants 98 could be running you a couple $1,000s for a 9.8. This is how it works. An Action 1 started at 10 cents and someone paid $300 for it, and people thought they were crazy. And then all of a sudden someone paid $50,000 for an Action 1 and they thought they were crazy. And the next thing you know, they're selling for $3, $5, $10 million. And that's just how it works. Things go up. Ultimate Fallout 4 has a print run of 80,000. And, at one point it started off for a couple bucks. And now it's up to, what is it, like $1,600 for a 9.8? Yeah, it's going down, but it's not going to go down to $10. So things go up, supply and demand, lots of demand. So when that happens, there's going to be a lot of people priced out of the Deadpool number 1, the first appearance of Deadpool. So they're going to go for the second appearance, kind of like the Hulk 182 or maybe a 180, something like that. It'd be more like akin to the Hulk 182 a little bit. And so that becomes valuable. So this will become valuable. That is my philosophy on this book. Yes, the supply is huge for this book, but I'm not saying that this book is going to be $1,000 book, but buying it for $65, which is literally the same as almost casing book, because you have to send it to CGC. You have to pay like $30 to get a modern tier grade. And then you have to pay for shipping there, shipping back, insurance, all that kind of stuff. Case cost is nearly almost $50 when you include all that stuff easily. And then so you have that, and then you have the time that it takes to get this thing graded, and then you got to hope you get a 9.8. Now, if you can get a 9.9, do that. But yeah, I still think I'm always surprised that this is that low on the list, and it has Deadpool on the cover. Yeah, it's X-Force 2, but second appearance. All right, last on the list is X-Men 129. A 9.4 is down 69% from 1597 to 500. A 9.6 is down 79% from 2800 to 595. And yes, this 9.8 is down 74% from $10,000 to now selling for $2,650. I think I paid 43. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. 43 for one of my 9.8s, and then another 9.8 was in the mid threes, I think. But nonetheless, lost money. Sucks, but it happens. This is the first appearance of Kitty Pryde. Also, I think it's the first appearance of the White Queen. I'm blanking on her. Emma Frost. But yeah. 10,000. If I was the person that paid for 10,000, do I think you'll ever see that again? No, not anytime soon. That's for sure. Do I think that this book has kind of bottom out? I think it can drop a little bit more, but I don't think it's gonna, drop too much more. Just my opinion. But yeah, I think it's kind of level out on this book personally. Do I think this good book long term? Yes, I do. I do. If you bought it for $10,000, I don't know what to tell you. It's like you're not gonna get that money back anytime soon. So, and it wasn't just 1 to 10,000. There's a couple that are around the 9,000, high 8s and stuff like that. You're not gonna see that money. If you're the one that bought it for $2,650, good on you. I think you're doing fine. I think in 5 years, this book will go up even higher than that $2,650. If you bought a 9.4 for $500 today, I think you should be fine in the future. But if you bought a 9.4 for $1,600, it's going to be a while till you see that returns. 10 plus years. Have a great weekend.